Again, Catherine Summerall, Real Estate with Catherine at Keller Williams. I've been serving the Durango community through real estate for the past 7 years, and that includes over 130 families served through real estate. And this conversation series was built out of this need or calling that I felt to rise up to the occasion, not only as your real estate partner as we navigate COVID-19, but also a community partner, and bring information to the community in a way that we can lean into positivity, that we can disseminate accurate perspectives, just so that we can have a platform to stand together through some interesting times that we're all figuring out along the way. So today, I do want to pivot a little bit and go to kind of talk to personal health and speak to individuals on more of a personal level than quote unquote business level, as we've maybe done here in the weeks leading up. Linda Wilderman is one of the head coaches at CrossFit Catacombs, and in her world, professionally leads people in being the best versions of themselves, both physically, and I'm sure that also translates to mentally and emotionally. And so, I love the fact that Linda just leads with heart, and I just love that. And I know that she has a wealth of knowledge that she brings to her clients. So that's why I wanted to have her on here today. So Linda, do you just want to give an introduction of you and how you got into kind of this health personal training space?
Oh man, absolutely. That would take me about a half an hour to explain my journey into health and wellness. But the short story is that I grew up in Durango. I was born and raised here, and I actually wasn't athletic. I didn't lead a very healthy lifestyle until I met my husband, and we kind of fell into this journey together, and I fell into CrossFit, and I've been coaching now since 2012. And I've been coaching at CrossFit Catacombs since July of last year.
Awesome. I didn't know that about you. I mean, you are you're a beast. You're a rock star. So great job for that.
I had to start from the very bottom. I started from scratch.
Yeah. Well, and how many people are just in that same boat that maybe think that, hey, I've never worked out before, or, I've never purposely worked out. I mean, sometimes in Durango, we live an active lifestyle where it's hiking or whatever. Reality is that's moving your body. That's a workout. But you help people do that certainly more intentionally. And so you want to just kind of dive into some of the, what you're seeing as best practices or kind of advice for those that are all on that spectrum. Maybe they're pros to maybe working out is a little intimidating.
We all start somewhere, and progress is really never linear. So, maybe you find that you were athletic, that you played sports in high school and college, and now you find yourself working a desk job and you're no longer the athlete that you used to be. And that's okay, because we all have this journey that is up and down and all around. And sometimes, we get this roller coaster ride out of our health journey, out of our wellness journey. And so really the encouragement there is you have today, right? We only have today, and we've been given this 24 hours, and we have an opportunity to start fresh every day and to build off of yesterday and the last few days. And so really it doesn't matter where you are now, but what matters is, are you going to start doing something that is going to make you better right now?
There's so many nuggets of that, but what I really loved was you said that progress isn't linear. That's good.
Yeah. And that's hard. It's really hard. For newbies, the progress is exponential. But when you've been doing this a long time, you find that the progress will kind of plateau. And maybe you find that you have an injury or a health condition or something come up that is this, that's unforeseeable, right? And you can't prepare for it necessarily. And so you'll have a dip in your progress. And that's really a natural thing. That's a natural part of life. But the idea is to not give in to that rut, as some people call it, and get back out and get that progress moving back upwards again.
Yeah. And so with COVID-19 and some of, just the notion that world is a little different right now. What's kind of some advice to lead people with, your clients or, prospective clients, just people in our community to better themselves and maybe, defend against some of this notion of disease or illness, or just not feeling like you're 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the best safeguard for preventing illness or, the effects of COVID are to lead a healthy lifestyle. And it doesn't have to be to a T, right? There is no such thing as one size fits all. There just isn't. And that would be easier if there was, but there's not. And you have to find what works for you and what's sustainable for you. And now that we have this time on our hands, some of us, now's a really great time to start diving into some daily habits that can make you better, that can build on themselves. Simple things like setting a timer to make sure you're not sitting at your desk for multiple hours on end, right? Can you set a timer once an hour to remind you to get up, to move? Just standing up is going to be good for your body. Maybe you remind yourself to get up and do a little stretch or a little sequence of maybe a couple burpees or some squats or really anything. Maybe it's something as simple as having a water bottle that is the amount of ounces of water you want to drink for the day and have that with you all the time. And one benefit is if you're drinking a ton of water, then you have to use the bathroom a lot, which means you have to get up from your desk and walk to the bathroom. But there's also this beautiful landscape that we live in, and we have this opportunity to explore outside, whether it be running or walking or cycling, fishing, at really anything that gets us outdoors and gets our body active. That's just a jump start on all of the other things that will follow, because you'll find you want to be in better shape for those things that we love to do outside.
Yeah. Well, and also maybe if you're chasing around a child or something like that, I've realized like, okay, I'm breathing a little too heavy right now for what I should be. But I also love just one of the tactical things that people can take from is setting a reminder on your phone. I'm the first to admit that, my business is my phone. I mean, I'm connecting with my clients, so I'm constantly connected to my phone. And so one of the things that I'm going to do after this is set a reminder to drink some water, because I was telling you, could do a whole lot better of that. Like, do you personally do, is it like once on the top of the hour, or like how frequent, just kind of whatever it fits in someone's schedule?
Yeah, I just keep my water bottle with me. I have a 64-ounce hydro flask, and I try to drink more than one of them a day. It's usually 1.5 or so. Yeah. And then I also, always have a glass of water with me. And I find that the more I drink, the thirstier I am. It's kind of funny that way, but the water piece, it just becomes a habit. It really becomes mindless when it's accessible, when it's right there with you. Then it's mindless, which is really nice.
Right. So if, the next kind of one of the things that we had talked about is stretching, so we have this idea of let's stay hydrated, let's move our bodies. Like maybe what are some suggestions when it comes to stretching or routines that you do or what you coach on?
Number one, I would say try to stretch first thing in the morning before you even sit down at your desk. Get some blood flow, maybe get outside for a walk, but really something as simple as bending down and touching your toes and then reaching up for the sky. Just getting in that movement through the system is a really great way to start your day. And then you don't even have to leave your desk to start stretching. One of the things that I do, because I'm working at the computer a lot more often now, is I find myself sitting here in this kind of hunched position. And so what I'll do is I'll take my hands off of the keyboard, and I'm just going to reach up and open and really think about spreading my chest, spreading my arms back behind me, really squeezing the shoulder blades back and down, and just feeling the opening of the front side of the body. And once every half hour, once an hour, getting that movement in is a really good way to prevent all of the tightness and tension that happens here when we're sitting and working at the computer. Another really easy one is when you're sitting is to avoid sitting cross-legged, right, with one leg crossed over the other, but maybe switch into sitting in a figure 4 position. So pulling the ankle up on top of the knee and getting a hip stretch while you're sitting. Instead of sitting, in a relaxed, comfortable position where you're not going to move for hours. Sitting isn't the enemy, but being sedentary is. And so even when we're sitting, we can move our bodies around, and that's going to help you from being too stiff. And it's going to help you be ready to get up and go do your exercise or whatever it is that you're doing later.
Yeah. What did the quote? What did you say? So sitting isn't the enemy. Being sedentary is. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's just good perspective, because I think so often we hear that, sitting is the, that kind of just is a little twist on the message that we may think about.
I've heard it be said that sitting is the new smoking, and it's such a load of BS, if I'm allowed to say that. But sitting is a human function. It's a normal function, but being sedentary is not. We are active bodies that are meant to move. Yeah.
Where do you, so in your, with your clients you work with, what's one of the bigger, a principle or a challenge across the board that you see a lot? What, if you could qualify, some of the, and sometimes it's not necessarily the actionables of learning how to do the movements, but it might be maybe it's the habit of creating it into your schedule, or I don't know, just maybe speak to some of the generalities that you see across the board with your clients.
Accountability is one of the biggest factors. Is most of us, most people know all of the things that we should be doing. The reality is we don't always do them. We need to have an accountability buddy. We need to have a community of people that are connected, staying connected, and encouraging one another to do what's best for ourselves. And so, one of the reasons that I love private training so much is because I get to be that bug in someone's ear day in and day out, reminding my clients, even if I'm not seeing them that day, but reminding them, hey, do your mobility routine today. Hey, I want to see a picture of you stretching. Send me your evidence that you did something good for your body today. And it's not because, I want to write that down in their program, but it's because I know they're going to feel better off for it. And it's going to create that habit where in a year from now, they won't really need me texting them all the time or being a bug in their ear to get up and move. It's just become a part of who they are.
I love that. And I love that your response was accountability. Because that even transcends, your expertise is personal health, physical health. But yet the notion of, accountability transcends across all conversations, right? So maybe if those that are listening, maybe they own a business and, there's an accountability piece that they could create in their organization to help everyone be better, maybe it is, hey, take your own water break, or maybe there's accountability in taking a break, or I just love the answer because it transcends across all conversations.
Yeah. As leaders, and even if you're not necessarily the leader of your organization, you lead people, whether it's your family or whether you're a leader in your group of friends. We are leaders, and we have a responsibility to be taking care of ourselves and setting that example to the people that we're leading. And, that's that highest level of accountability, is we have to be accountable to ourselves because there are people that are also relying on us. But I love that you touched on physical health, but there's also this element of emotional and psychological health that it's a huge factor in the physical health. And one of my favorite podcasts that I listen to is The Doctor's Pharmacy by Dr. Mark Hyman. And I was listening this morning, and this quote that he said was really fitting for today. He says, we can become more physiologically resilient by becoming more physically resilient. And that just resonates with me so much because yes, I am a athletic trainer. I'm a physical trainer. But I can see on a daily basis the effects of training our physical bodies has on our physiological bodies and our emotional bodies. And it's all very much connected. And to talk like it's not it's foolish, because we are holistic beings.
Yeah, gosh, you're just firing me up. I love what you're saying. And I just think it's such good value. And as we even just tie in like the stressors of COVID into our daily worlds right now and have for the past couple weeks, and that's not going away at any time soon. So just the emotional health component is what you're saying is go move your body, which we some of these things, like, we know this, yet hearing it a different way, or hearing it from a different person or whatever it happened to be, helps us to remind us, go move our body, because we move our body and we feel better emotionally.
Yeah. And everyone's in the same boat. So call your buddy and put your earbuds in and talk on the phone for an hour while you go speed walk up Hogsback. Everyone is in the same boat. And actually, I've heard this quote that I also really liked, that was, we're actually not in the same boat. We're in the same storm, but we're all in our individual boats. And I'm just a firm believer in that we are relational beings, that we thrive on community and having a tribe. And when we are looking out for our buddies, for our tribe, then we're also looking out for ourselves. Mm-hmm. That piece has to come together. This is not just about being our best selves for ourselves, but this is about being our best selves for our greater community, for our greater tribe, for our families. Yeah.
Oh man, I love it. I love it. So you're a head coach at one of the head coaches at Catacombs, which maybe kind of speak to the community of which you operate within. I mean, that provides some of the it fosters this concept that we're talking about.
Yeah, I was always drawn to CrossFit Catacombs because of the fact that community is the foundation. There is so much free information out there about how to exercise. We're really, and we are professionals, we are very well educated in that realm, but really what it comes down to is we're in the business of relationships. And that's just our foundational belief that people are people first and athletes second, right? Or gym members second, or whatever you want to label them as, but people are people first. Sorry. And so, I'm on a team of coaches, a really incredible team of coaches. And we are just so fortunate to be able to invest in people's lives from so many different standpoints, from taking them through a workout, but then also helping them to develop their mental fitness, their capacity to go on and take on the world.
Yeah.
So did I answer your question?
You did. No, I because you're a part of a coaching community and the accountability piece. So for people that are listening, find your community. So if that's your friend and you go on a walk, virtually to get, like, you're outside and on the phone together, find your accountability partners, certainly if that happens to become someone like yourself or a friend, or, find that accountability. I think that those were just key. And I love just the tying in the physical health to the emotional health. Again, things that aren't new concepts, but are just really important for us to remember as we process through some more of these daily stressors that we hadn't been accustomed to processing at maybe the magnitude that we are now. I mean, parenting and teaching and working and, doing those things for some people all at one time is very stressful. So I just think it's really good insight. I think this is, like, such good content for folks. Just a reminder to take care of ourselves.
Yeah, there's so many reasons to be stressed out right now. To be honest, there's hundreds of reasons that could cause you stress. But the reality is that there's only so many things that we can control. And so what my profession is in right now is helping people do a good job of controlling the controllables.
Love
And
it.
yeah, and that's applicable now in this crazy time, but also next year and the next year, and really every day. It's timeless. It's always going to be important.
Yeah. So shout out to Durango Strong. If those are listening, it's a website resource that hosts that connects you to guides or resources in our community. CrossFit Catacombs is on that site as a directory. So durangostrong.com. Of course, Catacombs has their own website that you can find there. And then Linda, how would people get in touch with you if they had questions about personal training or would love to connect with you further? What's the best way to do that?
I'm at linda@crossfitcatacombs.com. It's my email address. They can also call the phone number on the website, or I'm on Instagram at Lynn_wild.
Okay, awesome. Well, you like, I love your energy. You know, I know we've known each other. You and your family are clients of mine, and I just appreciate you. And you just, even on virtual, like even virtually, we're sitting here, and your like energy is like coming across the screen. So I just really appreciate you, and I'm grateful that you came on the conversation to speak with us today. And so yeah, for those that have questions, definitely reach out to Linda. And yeah, I think that we'll just wrap up. I think that was a lot of great nuggets in that. So thank you.
Thanks for having me, Catherine. It was a pleasure.
Okay. Enjoy your Friday.
Thank you.
Bye.